Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 15 of Cameron's Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strickland, and today I have with me Julian Harris. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you, Cameron?
I'm doing good. Now, for any of the guys who don't know, Julian is a musician for Bear in a Big Blue House in the Book of Pooh and Sheep in the Big City.
That's correct.
Okay, so I did take music lessons when I was a kid.
You did great.
Mhm. All right. Okay, let's begin our question. So, how did you get interested in music?
Well, my dad liked the music a lot. He played the flute and the banjo, and also my parents loved classical music, so I listened to a lot of classical music as a kid. But then when I heard Elton John and Tommy and the Rolling Stones, it was all over. That's all I ever wanted to listen to was rock music.
And what was your first music debut?
Ah, good question. Probably in my first music debut, probably eighth or ninth grade, I think. So later, I mean, as a young person, I wasn't really uh, playing that much.
All right. Moving on.
Yeah.
You have worked on The Duff.
What's that?
You have worked on The Duff.
The Duff. I don't know if I worked on the Duff. What is the Duff?
Well, your song was called Your Fingertips was in the film.
My fingertips. Oh, maybe he worked. Did he work on a film? Maybe my son on a film? Yeah, it's possible.
All right. And you did the lyrics for Where Is It Now on Heartland.
Ah, yeah. Is that Heartland, as in the movie, Mark Christopher movie?
Hmm.
I'm not sure where you're seeing all this information.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, no worries.
You have worked on the Total Eclipse.
Total Eclipse. Yeah, I think so.
And what's it about the short film?
Yeah, that was with a director I worked with named Mark Christopher back in the day. I met him. He went to Columbia, and that's when I was interested in film scoring. I hung posters up around Columbia and NYU looking for clients, and he answered my ad. And then I went on to do I had a recording studio, and I used to record demos for people and records and stuff like that. And then I started recording my guitar, and I met Dave Yazbek and Peter Lurie, who were involved in kids TV, and that's how I got into kids TV.
Okay. And you have worked on another short film called The Dead Boys Club.
Yes, that's correct.
And what was it like working on that?
That was a great movie. Mark Christopher is a really talented director, and that was really, in a way, that was just about the first film I ever did. Um, And I had to, he was interested in a lot of kind of like 70s disco and stuff like that. So I needed to do that. Yeah.
All right. What about Elk Iowa?
Yeah, that was one of his films as well.
And your segment was featured in Boy's Life too.
Oh yeah, okay. This is a long time ago.
I used to watch Bear in the Big Blue House when I was just a kid.
Wow. I'm so happy that you watched that show. It's a great show for kids. A lot of people really enjoy it. What was your favorite character?
Well, I like Tutter.
Yeah, he's so funny, isn't he?
Yes, he was performed by Peter Linz.
That's right. He's the mouse.
Yes. And what was it like working on Bear in the Big Blue House?
That was really a very it, it, fun and challenging and intense job. I had never done a kids TV show before, and it was working with Mitchell Kriegman, who's a very talented director, um, and he knows exactly what he wants, and so you have to really try to write the music to tell the story. That's the important thing. It's all about the story, and you need to bring out the important parts of the story. Like Tutter he was always very curious, and sometimes he'd get himself into trouble or he wouldn't understand emotions. And so we'd have to explain the emotions to him. And then when he get it, he was always happy.
Okay. Do you have a favorite episode?
Yeah, I do. I can't remember if there was one about cheese that I always enjoyed, the one about cheese. And then there was one about, I forget the name of it. There was another one where his cousin comes to visit from somewhere else and he's sort of a tough kid and they get into trouble or something like that. I like that episode. Um, but I forget the names of the episodes now after all these years.
Oh, Raiders of the Lost Cheese.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Cheese. You found it. Good for you. I like that episode.
All right. Moving on from Bear in the Big Blue House, you have worked on the Book of Pooh.
That's right.
Can you tell me how you worked on that show?
Yeah, that show was also a Mitchell Kriegman show for Disney. Um, and that one was more orchestral. But Bear in the Big Blue House was more like I would play guitar and sometimes I'd have an accordion player in with me. And it was very kind of organic. Book of Pooh used a bigger palette of sounds. And because of budget constraints, we did everything with MIDI. Some real instruments, but a lot of it was MIDI instruments on the keyboard.
All right. And what was the accordion player's name?
Rob Curdo.
Rob Curdo.
Yeah.
And I have a VHS copy of the Book of Pooh,
Wow. That's cool.
including this one.
Wow. That's so cool. An all new full length adventure. Disney's The Book of Pooh. That's very cool. Is that that's a DVD, right?
It's a VHS.
Oh, VHS. Wow. That's really old school.
Okay. let's start off with Sheep in the Big City.
Yeah.
What was it
What's
like working on that?
well, that was really cool. That was with Mo Willems. And he's a very talented director. He's now gone on to be quite a well-known children's writer. And he wrote this. He's now famous for this book called "Don't Let the Pigeon Ride the Bus." But back in the day when we were doing Sheep in the Big City, it was all about animation. And one thing I really loved about working on that show is that we created the theme to be very jazz, to have a lot of jazz in it, jazz music, which I like a lot. And I hired a trumpet player to come in and do a lot of the work with me. This guy, Jim Hines, he's one of the best trumpet players in New York City.
And how about jamming in Jamaica?
Oh, jamming in Jamaica. Yeah, yeah. That was a fun one. That was a great, I really enjoyed that too. I think that was a brief show about Barbie. And I did a few episodes of that. I remember I worked with my friend Maria Christensen on a song that was pretty cool. And I really liked the animation for that. It was very fun, very kind of teenage feeling.
And what about H20? Planet H20.
What's it called again?
Planet H20.
Planet H20?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really familiar with that. Is that a credit of mine?
It is a credit.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know that one.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries.
And you have worked on 48 hours.
Yes, that's a news show. That's very different from kids shows because that's like a crime TV.
You have a favorite episode?
Wow. I can't say I have a favorite episode, but I can't even count how many episodes I've done of that show. I wrote the theme for that show with my partner, Richard Fioca, in 1997. And here we are in 24. So that's over 30 years ago. We've been working on that show for a long time. It's very dark music as compared to the kids' music, which is very uplifting and merrily we roll along. This one is all dark, scary, subtle.
I forgot to tell you something. You have a favorite episode of the Book of Pooh?
Um, I can't say I have a favorite episode. I wish I did. They're all kind of blurring together. I think I like the pilot quite a bit, as I recall. The very first one I thought was fun, where we get to meet the characters for the first time.
All right. What about 1 week to save your marriage?
Oh yeah, 1 week to save your marriage. That was a really fun show. My friend Boaz was the producer and writer on that show, and that was a very interesting. I remember once they had a scene where the couple was having a romantic dinner on a rooftop somewhere. They were trying to save their marriage, and they actually hired me to come up and play live guitar for them to make it feel like a restaurant, and that was really fun. And there was some good music in that. I had a lot of opportunity to make it hip and also uplifting.
And you worked on a short film called Heartland.
Yeah, is that also was that also Mark Christopher? I can't remember. Heartland? Oh no, maybe that was someone else. Yeah, I that's a long time ago, isn't it?
Mhm. It was back in 2007.
2007. Let me see if I can even look that up. Heartland? Heartland. Julian Harris. 2007. Heartland is short. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, yeah. That's also Mark Christopher. Yeah. Yeah. That was cool. Yeah. Mark Christopher.
Okay. And you have worked on another short film called The Tides.
Oh, the tides. Yeah. That was from my stepsister, Eva, who's I'm just working on a new film with her too, in fact, called Coming into Sunlight, I think, or something like that. That was a cool movie. Yeah, I did a nice track for the tides. It was sort of I sort of started out with a Bach piece, classical piece, and made it more modern, more pop.
All right. You have worked on a TV show called Art Through Time, A Global View.
Have I?
Yes.
Let me go check that out. Actually, you're looking in the IMDDA, right?
Yes.
IMDDA. No, I am. What is it called? IMD what?
B.
IMDb A, right?
Hmm.
IMDb. I'm just curious to see because I haven't looked at this in a while. Uh, Animation department, heavy metal. Wow. Maybe I should put in Julian Frederick Harris. That's my middle name. Oh, no result. I don't remember that show, that one you're talking about, but I've worked on so many things that sometimes I forget.
That's okay.
Oh, thanks, man.
And you have worked on an upcoming short film, Moving into Sunlight.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one.
And you're in post-production.
That's correct. Yes, yes.
Okay. You had the Emu Proteus 1 synthesizer.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't even know if I still have that anymore. I used to have that one. Yeah. These days everything's on the computer. It's like I barely have any synthesizers left. They're all soft, what you call soft synths.
Okay. And you use Proteus 2 orchestral
Yes. Yep, that's true too. Yeah.
in Proteus Free World.
Yeah.
And you had the Alio CD
Yeah. Ilio. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
and Kurzweil Piano Rome.
Yeah, definitely. Kurzweil yeah, designed keyboards, very good keyboards.
And you have some Roland stuff.
Roland. Yep. Yep. All this equipment. Sometimes equipment comes and goes. I wish I had kept everything, but sometimes you have to sell things and get new things. And as I mentioned, so much of this stuff is now just done in the computer.
All right.
Cameron, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yeah, where are you? You live up in Canada, is that right?
Yes.
Wow, where in what part of Canada?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. Wow. So is there a lot of wilderness up there?
Yes.
That's cool. Do you get out to the woods?
I never go to the woods.
Oh, okay. Are there any lakes?
There's one.
That's cool. Okay. And I see you have a lot of puppets and stuff in the background there. Is that you're a real fan of all that stuff, huh?
Yes.
That's cool. Do you still watch these shows?
Yes.
So cool. What's your favorite show?
Well, I like Sesame Street.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that. Sesame Street. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great show. Do you do any puppets yourself?
Mostly.
That's cool. And last question, who else have you interviewed?
Well, I interviewed Muddy Robinson.
Cool.
Okay. So, you have worked on New York Knicks.
Yes. I was very I was very proud to have written the theme for the New York Knicks. It's a while back already. Um, but that was a lot of these things you have to you have to compete for in order to win them. And that was when I submitted my theme and it won. So I was very proud of that.
All right. And how about Hardcore Pawn?
Yeah, that's another show I've done many, many hundreds of episodes for through with my friend Richard Fioca.
And I saw a TV show called Pawn Stars.
Yeah, Pawn Stars. Yeah, that's a pun because it's pawn like a pawn. Do you know what a pawn shop is?
Well, let me see.
A pawn shop is where you sell, buy and sell used things, equipment. It's not exactly an antique shop or a secondhand shop, but a pawn shop you can, let's say you have a guitar and you need some money, you can take it to the pawn shop and they'll take it from you and give you some money. And then they might sell it or you can go back and buy it back from them.
All right.
So anyway, hardcore pawn was about people who would want to go to the pawn shop, but it's also a pun.
Hmm. And you have worked on Surprised by Design.
That's right. That was a very cool show on Discovery Channel. So are you looking at my website now?
Yes.
I see. Okay.
And you did the underscore for America's Most Wanted.
I did a bunch of America's Most Wanted scores too. Yeah. Yep.
That show was hosted by John Walsh.
Yeah, I know.
And John Walsh created a safety. John Walsh created the safety videos for kids, along
Yeah.
with Julie Clark, who was the founder of the Baby Einstein Company.
Mm,
It was called The Safe Side.
right. I don't think I ever saw it, but we got to keep our kids safe, huh?
Yes. And you have worked on a public television show for kids.
Uh-huh.
It was called Cyber Chase.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That's a great show.
And you have worked on UGO
Yu-Gi-Oh!
GX
Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a great show.
and Northwoods Law.
Yep, that's another show I worked with. Yeah. I wonder, when I do these interviews, I start to realize how much work I've done. I've done a lot of different shows. I guess that's why you called to interview me.
All right. What about Wild West Alaska?
Yeah, that's a cool show. That's about these guys that live out in Alaska and they do all sorts of crazy stuff. They go fishing, they shoot guns and live off the land.
All
And
right.
it's very kind of, we used a lot of acoustic instruments and for that.
Mm. You have worked on another TV show for Discovery Channel called Life,
Oh yeah. Yep. Sure did.
and you worked on Frozen Planet.
Yeah. Yeah. What
And what?
I'm interested right now is I really got into this because I wanted to be making records and writing pop songs and stuff like that. That's really my favorite thing.
All right. What about Barbecue Pits Master?
Yeah. You know, another thing, the way this music business works is you write music for what's called a library. You just write the music, not even knowing or thinking what it's going to be used for. And then it gets people pick it for their shows. So I barely even remember that show.
All right.
Is that on my website?
Yes.
Barbecue Pit? Is that's on music production, themes and
Yes.
score? Barbecue?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I believe you. Oh, music credits. I see. Oh, Barbecue Pit Masters. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're looking down at this whole list. Pawn Stars and Justice Files, Cook Yourself Thin, Sheep in the Big City, Lizard Lick Towing, Storage Hunters, Chaotic, Dinosaur King. Yeah.
Okay. What about Boys in the Hall?
Boys in the Hall. Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, that's about baseball. That was
And
a show. Yeah, I did a lot of sports stuff.
okay. And you worked on Pawn Stars
Yeah.
and Injustice Files.
Yeah, the Injustice Files was about civil rights movement. It was a very heavy show.
And you have worked on Cook Yourself Thin.
Yeah, that's funny because that's a show I don't think I ever. I think they just chose my music from the library to be in that show.
All right. And what about Lick
Lizard Lick Towing. Yeah, that's that. I think that was either Discovery Channel or one of those shows. Like I think that's an early reality show. Oh, it says True TV.
Okay. What about Storage Hunters?
Mm-hmm. That's another one. I also threw my friend Richard Fiocco. A lot of these are Richard Fiocco shows.
All right. What about South Beach Classics?
Yeah, that's a cool show. That was about this guy who buys and restores old, like vintage and classic cars. And so I did a lot of cool rock guitar, that kind of stuff for that show.
All right. What about Red Bull Signature Series?
Uh, yeah, well, that's the Red Bull is a an energy drink, and oftentimes they make promotions. I must have written some kind of theme for that.
Okay. How about Chaotic?
Chaotic is a cartoon, and when I was working for this company called Four Kids, initially doing the what was the first show? I think I was working on Yu-Gi-Oh. Then they brought me in to do a lot of stuff: Chaotic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dinosaur King, I guess, which is the next one. Chaotic, yeah,
And you have worked on another show called Dinosaur King.
yep. I believe that's also like a kid's cartoon. Yeah, that was I think also through 4 Kids. Yeah.
All right.
All right, Cameron. So do you live at home with your folks or?
I have a family.
Oh, that's cool. What's who's in your family?
My mom, my dad, Reg, three of them.
Reg, your mom and dad, and you have a brother or sister?
Haley and Caden.
Oh, that's so nice. So you're a real family, a whole family, huh?
Right.
That's cool.
Well, I think that's it for the interview.
That was great. Well, thanks so much for reaching out, Cameron. I really appreciate it. It was such a pleasure to meet you. I'm really impressed that you're doing these podcasts. Is there one can you send me a where do I get to listen to them?
I don't know.
You don't know what you don't do you publish them anywhere?
What about the instrumental version of the theme song for Band in Big Blue House?
The instrumental for the theme. Yeah, I think that was written by Peter Lurie, and there's a great sax solo on it by Andy Snitzer. And then I did sort of the end acoustic guitar stuff. I did the stuff that went like da, 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 da. And then there's the where he walks to the moon. That's the end of towards the end of Bear in the Big Blue House.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Julian, for your time.
Thank you, Cameron. I will see you next time, man. Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, just thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And good luck with everything. Okay.
All
Do you
right.
show your parents the interviews?
I never.
You never show your parents? No. Do you show anybody the interview?
It was on YouTube.
Oh, you put the interview up on YouTube?
Mhm.
What's your YouTube channel?
Cameron's Nostalgia Podcast.
Oh, Camera Cameron's Nostalgia
Podcast.
Podcast. Okay. And it's on podcast YouTube. I see. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay. All right. Well, great. Well, good luck, Cameron, and have a great weekend. All right.
All right. Stay tuned. There will be more guests coming up. Until
Okay.
next time, peace.
Peace, man. Take care.